Hey, welcome back to the shop, friends. What's official? The treadle lathe is completely done. On the last episode, we finished the tailstock, and the episode prior to that, we did the headstock. And today, I'm going to show you how I made the tool rest. Stick around. So the tool rest is simply a way of holding your lathe chisels steady while you're turning a piece of wood. So like for example here, I can sit my chisel on the tool rest and I can move it across the work to round the stock. It's important for the tool rest to be able to move in multiple directions. Number one, the tool rest needs to be able to move towards you and farther away from you to get closer to the stock. Number two, the tool rest needs to be able to twist from side to side. And number three, the actual part that you put your tools on needs to be able to move up and down so that you can line it up properly with the stock. The tool rest that I decided on is in multiple different pieces. So let's back up a little bit and I'm going to show you all the components to the project. So here are the components to the tool rest that I'm going to be using. The first part is a base plate, and this base plate has a mortise cut in it that allows it to slide up and down and also twist within the treadle lathe frame. That helps you to be able to line it up with your stock you're turning. Using a blind mortise and a tenon on what I'm going to call the tool rest upright is actually wedged and glued together securely. I drilled a 1-inch hole in the upright to hold the prefabricated steel tool rest here that I purchased off eBay. And then I have a embedded a finger screw here and embedded threads in which I can hand twist and tighten against the steel tool rest. I also chose a piece of stock here in place of what a lot of people use is a through bolt. A lot of people will place the through bolt through the base plate and then secure it using that. I decided to go with a piece of oak that I mortise and tenoned a cap on, in which locks the tool rest base plate into place when it's secured on the frame. I also made a through mortise here in the shape of the wedge in which I came up with, which is a 1/4 inch in thickness. And the wedge will go through the through mortise and tighten against a clamping plate here that I also put a through mortise in, and that tightens it against the frame. Let me go ahead and show you how all these pieces come together to make a functional tool rest for the lathe. So the base plate and the tool rest upright simply sit on the top of the frame, and then we insert the oak with a cap through the sliding mortise here. That way it can move side to side or front and back and also twist. And then the clamping block with a through mortise is placed. And then the wedge, the 1/4 inch wedge, is placed in position and simply hand tightened or pressed in, and it secures the tool rest fairly strongly. We then can insert the prefabricated steel tool rest through the 1-inch hole, and we can position it however close to the work where the work turning. Like for this piece here, I would want to get it as close as I can to the stock without touching it, and I would want the top of the tool rest to be near the spindle height. Once that's in position, we can tighten it down with the finger screw here, preventing the prefabricated tool rest from moving. And then we can actually tap in the wedge, securing it in place. I found what works best so far is just to position the rest where I want it then simply tap the wedge tightly into place, and that secures the tool rest very firmly against the frame. Now this tool rest is 12 inches in length, so it would be very difficult to use this for stock that we're turning that's less than 12 inches. In the event that I choose to turn something smaller, say like a pin or a small dowel, then I will need to either fabricate or purchase a shorter tool rest. They make multiple different designs, particularly to be used with bowl turning. And if I choose to turn bowls using this lathe, then I'll probably purchase a prefabricated rest that has some curve in it that will allow me to get to the inside of the bowl. But this design, I think, will allow me to do the majority of the turning I plan to do, such as tool handles and dowels and other projects. So now that the tool rest is complete, there's only one thing left to do, and that is to oil the lathe. So we have some boiled linseed oil here. Let's go ahead and put our first coat on the lathe, and it'll be a complete project. Well, that's it, guys. The treadle lathe is completely done. The tool rest is finished. The lathe is all oiled, so it's a completely done project. It's been a long time coming, I gotta be honest. The next video you'll see from me is I'm gonna teach you how to use the treadle lathe. I'm gonna go through the whole process of how to get it set up, how to get your stock in it, and how to turn your first project. So thanks again for watching. I'll see you on the next one.